Pastor Scott here, and welcome to this week's Sunday preview for June 28th. Well, we had our first outdoor worship service last Sunday, and it was a great success. We had about 25 people join us in person, another 10 or 15 via Zoom. The weather couldn't have been more perfect. We had a great Father's Day celebration, and we're going to be continuing to worship outside throughout the rest of the summer. If the weather is such that we can't worship outside, we'll move into the sanctuary while following social distancing guidelines. But our objective is to be outside as much as possible for Sunday worship. Another option you might consider for joining us is to pull up in your car and roll down your windows, and we'll reserve some parking spots in front of the church, and you can join us that way. And again, Zoom will always be an option for you to join us digitally. In terms of what we're going to be focusing on this week, we're returning to the lectionary, and our lection for this week is Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 14. And it tells the rather complicated story known as the binding in the Jewish tradition. It's the tale of God instructing Abraham as a kind of test of his faith to sacrifice his only son Isaac as a burnt offering to God. Now, God never intends or will allow any harm to come to Isaac in this story. This is, in God's mind, purely a test of Abraham's faith. Nevertheless, we can still wonder at how God could put Abraham up to such a terrible test, along with many other questions that may come to mind. Just know that your questions are valid and they are in good company. After all, rabbis and Christian scholars alike for thousands of years have wrestled with this text and those very same points. And yet, this scripture has a timeless lesson to impart to us that I dare say is especially relevant to our lives right now, given all that we are going through as a country. That we are called to trust in God, that God will provide for our needs in our greatest time of trouble, even when we don't see a clear path forward through our problems. So come on out and join us this week to listen in and learn about this rich text, to enjoy a great time of fellowship and worship God together. Have a great rest of your Friday and be blessed.